everything changed. He stopped separating his life, he began to integrate it. His work became purposeful, his decisions became intentional, his actions became aligned, because now Christ was not a part of his life, Christ was his life. Paul continues, and to die is gain. This is where many people struggle, because it sounds unusual. How can death be gain? But Paul is not speaking from fear, he is speaking from perspective. To him, death was not loss, it was transition, because his entire life was centered on Christ. Death simply meant being fully with Christ, no limitations. No suffering, no separation, just complete union. That is why he could say it is gain. This reveals something powerful. Paul was not afraid of death, because he had already settled his life. Many people fear death because they are uncertain about life. They are attached to things that are temporary. But Paul's foundation was different. His life was anchored in something eternal. So whether he lived or whether he died, he still won. This verse introduces a mindset of total surrender. It is not partial. It is not conditional. It is complete. Paul is saying, if I live for Christ. If I die, I gain Christ. Is no losing. That is a powerful position to be in, because it removes fear, it removes anxiety. Creates stability. But this level of understanding does not happen instantly. It is developed. It is built through relationship, through experience, through surrender. There was a believer who struggled with fear of the future, fear of loss, fear of uncertainty. Every situation made him anxious. But as he grew in his understanding of Christ, something began to shift. He realized that his life was not random. It was connected to something greater, and slowly his fear reduced, because his focus changed from outcomes to purpose, from control to trust. And over time he began to understand what Paul meant. Another dimension of this verse is purpose. To live as Christ means your life has meaning. It is not empty, it is not directionless, it is intentional. You are not just existing. You are representing. Every action becomes significant because it reflects something greater. There are people who live without purpose. They move through life reacting to circumstances. But when you understand this verse, you begin to live differently. You become intentional, you become focused. Because you realize your life carries meaning, it also introduces freedom. When your life is centered on Christ, you are no longer controlled by external pressures. Success does not define you. Failure does not break you. Opinions do not control you. Because your identity is stable, you are not trying to prove yourself, you are living from purpose. That is freedom. But this verse also challenges you. It forces you to ask a question. What is my life centered on? Because everyone lives for something. Some live for success, some live for validation, some live for comfort. But Paul presents a different standard. To live is Christ, partially, not occasionally. Fully so. How do you begin to live this way? First, you must develop relationship, not just knowledge, not just information, but real connection with Christ. Second, you must shift your focus from self-centered living to Christ-centered living. Third, you must surrender control, trusting that God's plan is greater than your own. Fourth, you must live intentionally, making decisions that reflect your identity. And finally, you must grow consistently, because this is a journey. Not a one-time decision. When you begin to understand this verse deeply, your life changes. You stop chasing temporary things. You start focusing on what truly matters. You become stable, focused, purpose-driven, because your life is no longer defined by circumstances. It is defined by Christ.